Hi, I'm Stefan, the BMW DIY guy, and do you want to program your brand new CANchecked display in your BMW? I'll show you how. All right, y'all, so let's talk about this project a little bit, and I hope you've checked out the CANchecked install DIY that I created. I am really excited to have this supplementary display in my BMW M2. This adds a lot of functionality, but the thing that I really love about this product is that it has a tremendous amount of customization that you can do. Now, you're gonna need a laptop, and hopefully you installed the USB cable that we did in the DIY install. Now, we're gonna plug in your laptop, and I'm gonna walk you through the process. There's a couple of software apps you're going to want to download from their website, and I'm going to show you how you can do the same. All right, let's jump into the car and I'll show you how it's done. All right, guys, so let's actually walk through this process. I'm really excited about this. One of the cool features of this display is how customizable it actually is. So when we look at this, there's a couple of apps where you're going to want to get. You're going to want to go out to the CANchecked website, you're going to want to get the Updater app, and you're going to want to get the DSS app. Now, I'm plugged into my Windows 11 laptop here with the USB cable that's run down from the inside, and I have a little bit of adhesive that I've stuck to the inside of the kick plate, and so it can be easy to get to and also store away when I'm not using it. Now, when you launch the Updater app, you can also download the latest hex file for your display. Make sure you grab the right one. You would just simply launch the app. Now, two quick things from a technology place as far as Windows is concerned. Now, for both the DSS app and the Updater app, I did get a Windows signature warning saying that these aren't digitally signed apps. Do you really want to run them? There's an option that you can click on to say yes, and then go ahead and launch or install the apps. Okay, now for the Updater, now I've gone ahead and actually updated my app or my display, but let me show you here really quickly. So here in the downloads, I've got the latest D version. Now, by the time you look at this, there may be a newer version than what we've got. You just simply say open, and you can see it's going to run through the Updater. It's updating on the display right now, which you should be able to see a little bit. Bang, resets the display. You're good to go on the latest version. It is really nice. Now, one other thing I really like about this app is the reset function. I've done enough updating on the display, and I've bounced it back and forth and really worked with it enough that I've hung the display a couple of times. One of the easiest ways to fix that is close the DSS app, launch the Updater app, and then go ahead and hit the reset button, and it will cause the display to turn off and turn back on. So just keep that in mind. So go ahead and close the Updater if you're using it, and go ahead and launch the DSS app. Now, this is going to take a moment to launch, and let's talk through this a little bit as we go through it. Now, the app itself, there are a ton of features and functions here. I'm sure that there are really some really great suggestions. I'm going to walk you through the basics of what you want to do with this app, and I can show you all the pages. You can add pages, you can remove pages, you can change the way the display functions. You can even update and add some of your own images if you want. Okay, so obviously it's launched. Click to start. This is the Gen 2, so I'm going to select that. We're going to go up to connection here, select that, and in this case, I'm connected to COM4. So it's to the USB port. Now, it's simply reading through and loading all of the pages as we go through, and this takes a second because it loads all 10 pages. Now, as I said, you have the ability to change those pages, disable them, change colors, features, functions. One of the things that impresses me the most about this CANchecked display is this DSS software, your ability to actually change how it's functioning. So it's going to take a second as it loads through all of this, because some of the pages you may want, some of them you might want a little bit different. There's all kinds of really cool options here on what you can add. All right, so it's almost here, almost up to page 10. And you'll watch your display actually as well cycle through and change as it's loading each page. So some of these functions I'm going to talk through, and like I said, the complexity of what we have here is really, really high. So I'm just going to walk you through at a very high level of what's going on and your different options here of what you'd like to see. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the page load so you can see all 10 pages that are loaded. I have one additional one by default right now that I've changed in some of my updating that I've done. Okay, but as you can see, you can hide them with the little checkboxes. So there's particular pages in here that if you've gone through it and you want to simplify your display and only have a couple of different displays, you can easily, through this UI, take it and say, you know what, let's hide that page. We're not actually going to use it. All right. So To get into each individual page, you just click on the page. It's going to load the page here. Now, this is a two-stage process as you go through it. So it loads it on the display, but this is what it looks like on your PC right now. And each one of these, so if you make a change, so for example, and you can see all of our different values here, and there's quite a few. So you could customize this to anything you want. Maybe you want to continue to use display, but you actually want in the center, you want something else, right? You want a different display. So when we look at this, we go, okay, so I've clicked on the value. As you can see here on widget 4, it's set to boost. So if I wanted to change that to, I don't know, let's say exhaust temperature, right? So that's now set to exhaust temperature, but I'd actually want to go to where it says bar and change that, because that's a field that you can edit. So maybe you wanted it to be something else. So we're going to call it exhaust temp, okay? Just like that. So now, as you can see, it says exhaust temp, which is awesome. Now, it does show exhaust temp on the display, but this is just the display mirroring what's going on in the app right now. That's not actually saved. So what you'd want to do if you wanted to save this value, right here where you can see where it says export to display, you'd want to click that, and now it's pushing it out. It's actually pushing it out to the display right now, and now it's saved. Because that way, if you just unplugged, if you didn't do anything else that you were doing, that value wouldn't have been saved. So right now on my display, it says exhaust temp, that center value's changed, and you can do a tremendous amount of customization. Now, as we go through this, we look at our different pages. Let's actually look on how we could potentially change a page. So I'm going to go in here to page 10, which is one of the pages that I've changed to one of their custom values. Now what I like is really cool is up here in the load predefined page, they have quite a few predefined pages that you can actually change to. So you just hit the drop down and you can see quite a few that we've already got. You know, some of the logging displays that we've got the dash that we've got in some of the other pages. So let's look at, let's grab fuel logging here. I don't think I've got that one on. So we're going to load fuel logging, just like that. Now, again, I'm seeing it echoed. I'm seeing it echoed up here on the display, but again, that's not saved yet. So if I wanted to save it, I'd come here and push it to the display. I would say export to the display. And all of these things you can change through. So for example, what I think is cool is your ability to add custom widgets, custom pictures. So let's deal with that really quick. So we're going to go to upload, and you go here, you want to choose a file. Now, read through this very, very specifically. Supported files, TRXs, BMPs, PNGs, JPEGs, so on. You're going to want to have the right format. JPEG tends to be better, so the display doesn't have to do a conversion of other types, right? And so there's good advice here on exactly what it's doing. Now, also, when they talk about the logo here, the recommended size, they're not kidding. It's really a good idea to cut your logo down or whatever it is you want to the correct size. So I'm going to say choose file. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab the right file. We're going to grab plate 2 right there. We're going to say open. You can see it's going through the uploading and it's done. Go down here where it says plate 2 loaded successfully. We're going to go back to our pages. So let's grab this top page right here. We're going to click on the CANchecked logo. As you can see, that is widget 18 right here. So we're going to grab that. We're going to hit the drop down. I'm going to scroll down a little bit to make it easier to see. And then we're going to go down to plate. And you can see there's all kinds of existing logos are in here already. It's sorted alphabetically. So scroll down past all the logos here. Gotta find our right plate. And actually, there's a lot of really cool images in here that I might end up taking a look at later. So there it is right there. Bang. Now, it's a little too big. It's a little too big right at the moment, as you can tell, right? But I can cut this down. I could do all kinds of different options to make this fit just a little bit better, right? Because right now it's not fitting quite right. But that's okay. But as you get the idea of how you can manipulate all of these different things, and I'm definitely going to go through this and cut this logo down a little bit. I'm going to add this customized to everything that I'm doing in my display. I think it's going to be really, really cool. Now in this case, remember, I haven't hit export to display, so it's not going to go out to the display. So I don't have to worry about any changes or anything I need to do here. All right, so let's go back up to our top pages. Now, a couple of things that we want to take a look at as well, and there's so many options here. So other settings that I like a lot, if you'd like to go through and actually affect some of your basic settings in the display, I find the most useful things here are in unit conversion and general settings. So when you look at your general settings, you can see your background light time, your startup screen, how long you want that to go, all of that information. So if you wanted to customize that initial start logo and make it a little bit shorter, make it a little bit longer, you could certainly do so. You can also set your logging on to permanently on. Your unit conversion as well. So here in the States, I'm going to want PSI, I'm going to want Fahrenheit, miles per hour, and AFR for combustion. So that just makes sense. But this gives you the ability to change them to whatever is the best setup for you. Now, you can do some of these things through the display itself, but it's also a nice way if you've got the DSS app running that you can not worry about that and actually do it from here. All right, so many possible functions here. So when we actually look at the sensors we can see, and I'm going to slowly just scroll down through this. Yeah. Lots and lots and lots of sensors that you can see that are possible. So for example, let's look at the RPM sensor and look at the details. In here, you can make adjustments if you need to. You can change your decimal types. You can change its name by default. That would apply through all of the setup, but all really, really good. All right, so lastly, I want to talk about enhanced mode a little bit. So we're going to go back to page 2 here. Now, when we look at page 2, there are some options that we can get into. So obviously we've got boost, we've got our intake temps, our gearbox, and so on. But what I wanted to show was actually the enhanced mode, so to see the expanded definition of some of this information, right? So let's go ahead and let's grab boost here. We take a look at it. Up here in the corner, you see enhanced mode. We're going to flip that on. Now suddenly you see quite a bit more information, okay? Now, again, this gives you the ability to customize as far as you possibly want it. The warning colors, for example, you cross a certain threshold on RPM gauge or what your boost is or whatever happens to be, they'll blink red. So here on the display, you'll see your display blink red. You could change that. You could change it to different colors, right? You can change how it actually sits in all of this information. So, for example, if we go back to here, and we look at our CANchecked, right? Because remember we were here before. Here's that XY coordinates, right? That we were looking at for centering it. This is where you can blend all of that in. You can change your coordinates. Where before, if we go back with the enhanced mode off, it's just the picture. So do you remember how when I picked it, it was shifted too far to the right? Well, if I went into enhanced mode, I would have the ability to change its XY coordinates and actually adjust that. Now, in that particular case, that image is too big. I'd want to scale it down quite a bit more, right? But you can change its X and Y coordinates on the display to get it properly centered. I'm very likely going to take my logo and I'm going to replace the CANchecked logo with mine, because why wouldn't I? What a cool function, right? But as you walk through all of this, now, lastly, one thing we're going to touch on here really quickly, I don't think I've got any logs on right now. So yeah, I don't. I don't have any logs that I've pulled on the display. But this is also a great way that if you wanted to see all of your logging, so if you took your car to the dyno or you had some track time, all of that information, and you've enabled logging on your display, you can import the logs into your PC. You can see them on a much broader scale and see all of the information that you would like to see without being cramped on the display, right? So you can export it out, which is really, really nice. And you can have them here on your PC. You then can load them and walk through them. All right, so like I said, there is so much you can do with this. And even here, when you look at the options of what you see in other settings, this enhanced mode adds a tremendous amount of information that you can add throughout your entire display. So I really encourage you to walk through all of this. I really encourage you to look at the displays. So for example, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna say, let's turn page 9 off. I don't really care about it. Let's turn page, actually, you know what? I want to show you one more thing. I'm going to take that back. Let's keep page 9 on, because I want to show you a cool page. So we are going to scroll down, and we're going to look at the RPM bar. Yeah. Kind of has that, in my G87 here, kind of has that G87 layout. Now, the other thing you can do that I did want to show, and I'm going to say load from file, is I've also got off their website, they have a huge list of other pages, a massive list of other pages. Now you can see when you select it, you're going to want to pick the text file. Now I'm going to pick the G style text file here in a second. But if you wanted to, when you look at this, and let me open File Explorer here for a second. You can actually kind of preview the files. So I'm going to go into that horizontal folder, and I've downloaded this off their site. Here's that horizontal folder where that text file is sitting in. But if you look, here's all the BMPs, right? So if you wanted to see what does a Bayern blue look like, you can load the BMP and actually take a look at the file itself, and you'd know, in this case it's really, really small, right? That's what it's going to look like on the display when you select it. So if you want kind of a heads up of what's it look like if you download some of their custom pages. So, and then in this case, I've grabbed the G1 before, so let's grab Bayern Blue. Let's grab that. I actually haven't loaded that one yet, so that might be fun. So there's the Bayern Orange. So Bayern Blue. Let's grab the Bayern Blue.txt file. Bang, just like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that's really cool. So let's keep that. And again, if you load one of these pages, whether it's off their load predefined page or you've downloaded additional ones off their website, that's how you would load it up. And I'm going to say export. Now it's pushed over. I see boost, I see exhaust, I see my oil temps, I see my water temps. It's fantastic. So when I look at this, and again, when we look at some of these displays, I'm going to go into enhanced mode. Here's all of my different options of how we can get this set up, right? So we've got our different widgets. You can even go in and change the icons. So if you really, really wanted to, because all of the icons in this are BMP files, just like that logo that I imported. So you would have the ability to actually change the logos as well if you really wanted to, which is unusual. I have not seen a display like this that gives you this degree of customization. You basically could customize absolutely everything. And I'm actually going to go looking, because I bet there's a great community surrounded around this, and I bet there's people out there creating custom pages that I can't wait to see. Okay, so if you want with your layout, you even have your helper line so you can get your formatting just right, so you can understand your centering and get it set all properly. So I'm really excited about this. I think it's really, really cool. All right, y'all. So like I said, I really intended this to be an overview of what you can do. 1, how do you update your display? 2, how do you use the CANchecked DSS app to connect to your display and make some changes? There is hours of changes that you can make inside of this app. And be very careful. Be very careful as you go through it. Now, worst case scenario, you factory reset your entire display and start over again, right? And you'd be okay. But this is a great way to customize this display, figure out what it is that you do or don't want in your setup. And I know I'm going to walk through this. Also, over time, I suspect my needs are going to change on how I want to have this set up and which pages that I actually use over time. But all in all, I'm really impressed. This is one of the coolest functionalities I've seen be able to add to our car in this level of customization. And I think CANcheck has done an absolutely fantastic job. So make sure to go out and check it out. All the links for all this will be in the video description, and you can walk through and do this yourself. All right, y'all, so this is just the beginning. I mean, with your laptop and the DSS software, there is so much that you can do. And I know, for me, for sure, over time, I'm gonna make a whole series of changes. Like I said, I'm probably gonna update the logos, I'm gonna do a few other things, I'm gonna shuffle pages around. And then as my needs change over time, I can add and remove pages as well. I hope you take a look at this. I think that the CANcheck display is a fantastic piece of technology you can have in your car. And the customization really is just icing on the cake. So I really appreciate all the hard work from CANcheck, and they put out updates all the time, so make sure to check for that. But Everything you need will be linked in the video description below, so make sure to check that out. Thank you for CANchecked for making such a fantastic product that's so easy to work with, and this customization for me really is a game changer. I appreciate you watching. Please make sure to click like and subscribe. It makes a big difference to my channel, and I would really, really appreciate it. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on my next project.